Juggling these doctors and tests and insurance is just the worst. You mess up something and not only does it cost you a lot of time and effort, but it also costs a lot of money. So how can we make this happen when our executive functioning skills are struggling to keep up?
Welcome to Motherhood and ADHD. I'm your friend, Patricia Sun. My mission is to be a lighthouse for mothers with ADHD, helping you find your path to success by learning to appreciate your ADHD as an asset. I'm seeking to change the paradigm that ADHD means your life is doomed to be a hot mess. So I'm sharing strategies and encouraging you in your pursuit of happiness to love who you are every day of your ADHD life.
Hey there, Successful Mama. It is your friend, Patricia. As we've been talking about executive functions, I happen to be in the height of executive function game day right now. I have been having a ton of health issues the last few months, and it is not good. The side effects of some of the symptoms are giving me brain fog and ridiculous fatigue. And when I'm already on the executive function struggle bus, and then you throw in whatever's going wrong with me that I don't know what it is yet, it's like someone covered my struggle bus in tar and I'm moving so slowly and I can't see 3 inches in front of me and I can't get out because the door's stuck. It is rough. Juggling all of these doctors and tests and insurance is just the worst. Because when you mess something up, not only does it cost you a lot of time and effort, but also a lot of money. So this is where I need all of the executive functioning skills I can possibly muster. So if you are dealing with some kind of medical process, here's what's helping me right now, because this could be something serious like I'm dealing with, or it could be something as mundane as your kid's annual checkup. Maybe you have something that you've been putting off with your own health. Maybe you're seeking an ADHD diagnosis, or you're thinking about it, but you're not really sure what to do. It just feels overwhelming. Here's some of the things that I use to help me navigate the process and stay on top of all the moving pieces. Because as moms, we already have enough moving pieces as it is. Something like this, it's just too much. So here are all the steps I'm taking to stay on top of as much of it as I can. I know it's not going to be perfect, but doing these things keeps me moving towards my goal. 1, I write everything down. I can't remember all this stuff. There's so many words and vocabulary that I don't understand with medicines and body parts, and every time they give me something to do, there's this multi-step instructions that I have to follow. It's too much. So I write everything down. It starts with writing down everything when I have an appointment. I write down all of the questions that I want to ask at the appointment and anything that I want to tell the doctor while I'm there about what's going on. Plus, it's kind of like when you take the car to the mechanic and it's been making this noise all this time, and then you show up to the mechanic and of course it doesn't make the noise. Sometimes that happens. So I want to have written data that says, here's what I've experienced. And that way they can draw from that information some conclusions. And it's not just me saying, well, I don't feel good sometimes. That's not helpful to them if they can't see it in front of them. So I make a lot of notes beforehand to be prepared. Then I take notes while I'm there in the appointment and the doctor is talking. I've tried it where I just try to listen and then write it all down at the end, and that I can't keep up with all that. So as they're talking, I say at the beginning, I'm a note taker. I'm going to take notes as we talk. And I jot down things as we go. That way, any information that I think I might need later, I have it. I also repeat back to them what I need to do and how I need to do it before they walk out of the room. They do this every day. It's just their usual routine. Whereas for me, I've never done this before and I don't know what the process is. And most doctors do the doctoring and then their staff takes care of the rest. And I want to know, who do I call for this? Who do I call for that? I want to know all the information. Next, I don't leave until I feel like I've asked all of my questions and I feel comfortable about where we are. I'm always going to think of more questions after I leave, but I want to make sure that I asked everything that I could while I was there. And then I get names and contact info for everyone. Trust no one here. I know they'll say so-and-so will call you to schedule that. No, sometimes they don't. So I want to know, if I have to get this test done, who do I talk to and how do I find them? Then I also write down names, dates, and times that I talk to anyone. And this is including phone calls, because sometimes things fall through the cracks. But when I say, I spoke to this person on this date at this time, then they know that I'm serious and they're not going to try to give me some BS, because they know that I'm taking notes and I know what's going on. So I write down everything. Is it a little excessive? Probably. But it has helped me out so many times that I now make even more detailed notes than I did at the start of being a grown-up. All right, step 2. I keep all documents on my phone in some kind of form or fashion. Labs, tests, results, list of symptoms, the data I've tracked, all of that. I have it in my phone and easy to access so that I can give it to them right then, because a lot of doctors are going to say, well, I need to look at this stuff before I can get to the next step. And I don't want that hold up to be me. So if they say they need some lab results, bam, I got the email. Who I need to send it to, I'm sending it right now, because I want them to not be waiting on me. 1, so I don't forget. And 2, because I'm trying to move this process along as fast as I can, because this is a slow process. So I want to keep it moving. 3, if you can bring a person with you, bring an extra person with you. Having an extra brain and some moral support never hurt anything. It's a little bit of a struggle right now with the whole coronavirus, is that a lot of places I can't take an extra person with me, which is hard. But anytime that I can, I'm going to bring someone with me, because so far I thought I was going to be fine because I didn't think it was this serious. And then I show up and I'm getting information that's a little overwhelming. And obviously then my anxiety starts running and my brain starts spinning. And then I start losing information that they're saying while they're talking. And so having that extra backup is really helpful. Okay, step 4. Check with your insurance before you do anything that costs money. If you don't have insurance, find out where you can do cash pay at a discounted price. Do that research before you actually go and do a test. You can schedule something and reschedule it later, but at least check before you actually show up, because generally speaking, the doctors are going to send you where they know this thing can happen and it's going to get done. That doesn't mean that's what your insurance wants to pay for. So if they say you need to get a CT scan, I want you to go here and say, that's great. Let me find out if my insurance covers that, because it might cost you $200 if you go where your insurance wants to pay for it. And it might cost you $2,000 if you go where your insurance doesn't cover it. So always check with your insurance where it is cheaper or in network or prior authorization is needed. And if you don't have insurance, same thing. Some places will give you a better price if you say cash pay up front. They'll give you a discount. You just have to ask about all that. So if you need to schedule some kind of test, schedule it, but then you have to go and do the legwork before that test actually rolls around. All right, number 5, research any new doctors or places that are recommended to you. Don't go crazy researching 53 doctors before you pick one, but do a little bit of due diligence. And the same thing with once you have picked where you're going and you schedule your appointment with a new doctor, look at their website, figure out where their location is. Do you need to fill out any paperwork ahead of time? Or does that just save you time when you're there to be able to fill all that out ahead of time? Do they have any instructions for you of what you need to bring or what you need to do? Do all that reading beforehand. I know it's boring, sorry, but look at all that ahead of time, because that will let you know and just make everything much smoother when you get there. Example, when I was at the cardiologist yesterday, the instructions on their website were very clear that I needed to go up Fannin. And of course, my GPS took me to the location on the main side. And if you've ever been to the Texas Medical Center, it's huge. And there's a lot of one-way streets. And of course, it was taking me the one-way street on the other side, and the visitor parking entrance was on the other lock. So I had to do a whole U-turny thing when I realized I was on the wrong side, but I didn't follow the instructions that were on their website because I'm like, I know where I'm going. Happens every time. But at least I knew when I realized I was on the wrong side what the problem was. Here's why I can't get into the garage. I'm on the wrong block. All right, number 6, use your resources. Who do you know that knows about this? Ask for help, ask for recommendations. When it comes to your health, this is not the time to be shy. Ask around, figure out who you can ask for help. Any extra assistance is going to help. Number 7, balancing patience with aggressiveness. This reminds me of the Serenity Prayer, which is famous for AA, but it really is a great mindset And it says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This applies to my medical situation in that sometimes these things just take a long time. Like when I need to see a new specialist, the turnaround is usually 6-8 weeks. That's a long time to wait when you're sick. So there's a balance between, I know it's just going to take that long to get an appointment, but there is a level of aggressiveness that I can take in calling the office maybe every week and saying, hey, I am a new patient and my appointment's not for several weeks. I was wondering if anybody canceled their new patient appointment that I could take their spot. That level of aggressiveness will get you where you need to be faster. That's okay. Because eventually that appointment lady is going to be like, oh my goodness, this is the 4th time that Patricia has called me about this. Well, let me just write her name and number on a Post-it note here and I'm just going to call her so she quits calling me. Or she'll say, you know what? That Patricia really wants to get this done. I can make that happen because she's trying really hard. Whatever her reasoning, I don't care. But I'm going to get that appointment lady to put me in that appointment, whatever it takes. Now, it may still take me 8 weeks to go see that specialist, but at least I tried to move it along as fast as I can. And also, it reminds me, my grandpa used to always say, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. When you speak up, you get what you want. When you don't say anything, you don't get it. So I'm always going to be nice about it and kind, but I'm going to keep pushing to try to get what I need to get done as quickly as I can get it done. Same thing on like returning phone calls. Somebody like, oh, I'll call you back. No, I will leave you 73 voicemails if I need to get this done. This is, I think, part of the hyper focus of ADHD. So I'm coming for you, lady. We'll make this happen. All right, number 8, aim to arrive 30 minutes early to all of your appointments. I know this sounds totally crazy. You're not going to be 30 minutes early. I get it. But when you're going to a new place, you're trying to navigate the directions. If you're in some kind of hospital, you've got parking garages and navigating the building and the elevator banks and all. It's like not just like you park your car and magically beam your way places, which is what I think. And this is my husband always says. He's like, you can't just show up and magically like beam yourself into the office. I'm like, I know. It takes a while to figure out where you're going. The reason I try to get there so early is more for my mindset, because when I'm in a hurry and I'm trying to find things and I'm frustrated, I'm flustered, I don't have a calm mindset about what I'm walking into with my appointment, which is how do I do the very best with my health. So that calm mindset of being there early makes a big difference to me. So this arriving early is more about making me sane than anything else. Plus, on top of it right now, you have, add in a few minutes for your coronavirus screening everywhere you go. So just need a little extra time. And then the flip-flop of that is also allow extra time on the back end, because doctors are notoriously running late. You never know if they have like a procedure or something before that. Just know that whatever amount of time you think it's going to be, tack on an extra hour. That also gives you the option, if they say, hey, can you stay and do this testing right now? You can say yes and get it done. Done. Well, you wait. Review your notes. You're sitting there in the office, waiting 100 years for the doctor to come in. Go through your notes. We talked about that in step 1. What questions do you want to ask? What are the things that you really want to make sure that the doctor understands while you're there? Think about all those things. And then also bring something to do, even if you don't end up doing it. I have to bring something with me because I hate sitting and waiting. It just drives me bananas. But there's a good portion of the time where I'm so focused and anxious about what's going to happen in the appointment that I don't even end up doing the thing. I just end up like doing something mindless, like scrolling Instagram, and that's okay. But there's something about waiting that irks the ADHD mind, and I want to have something to keep me occupied. Even if I don't use it, I know it's there. I can read this book or this article or knit or whatever it is that you like to do to pass the time. It's a nice little safety blanket there. Number 10. If you are not comfortable with your provider, seek another person. Do not put up with somebody who doesn't make you feel valuable, who doesn't listen to what you're saying. That's nonsense. Just like if you have a bad boyfriend, cut him loose. Get rid of him. You have a bad doctor, cut him loose. Get rid of them. There is someone out there that is a good fit for you. This isn't like getting a haircut where you're like, oh, that dye job did not turn out well, but my hair grows back in, it'll be fine. No, like this is your body. This is your mind. This is important. If that person just doesn't jive with you, that's okay. Find another person. It is worth the hassle to find someone who listens to what you're saying and that you feel like they truly have your best interest in mind. I've been in offices where I'm like, this person does not give a boo-hoo about me. And I've also worked with providers who truly make me feel important. And that's what I seek out every time now. I don't put up with nonsense. I don't put up with ridiculousness. I only get one body. You only get one body. So I'm not messing around. Sorry, not sorry. Lastly, number 11, find the answers you are seeking. In all of this tumultuousness, I realized that part of me was hoping the whole time that the doctors were going to say, you know what? You look totally fine. All this worry was for nothing. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Everything's good. But deep down in my heart, if someone was to tell me that you're fine, and I know I am not fine, I'll know that's a lie. It's not true. I'm not fine. And I don't want someone who's going to look at me and tell me I'm fine when I know that I am not fine. So be persistent in finding the information that you need. If the first person you speak with does not hear you and does not listen to you and thinks totally, oh, everything looks good, I don't know what to worry about, don't accept that. Assuming that you're not a hypochondriac, in that case, seek assistance for that problem. You know when your body is off. You know when your mind is off. Trust that gut and find the information that you need. A lot of times people will ask, what's even the point of seeking a diagnosis for ADHD if you're not planning on doing medicine? It's not like when you're a kid, you get accommodations at school. You know, you might not get them at your job, or maybe you don't even have a job, which we all know being a mom's a job, but whatever. Won't get off on that tangent. But you can seek a diagnosis for something for the sole purpose of knowing what's going on in your body. That is a valid reason to seek a diagnosis. That is 100% good enough to invest in your health and well-being, is for you to know, I'm not broken. There's nothing wrong with me. This is just how I am. And I'm going to seek that diagnosis. The same with your body. When you're like, I know something is off with me. Like, I'll be honest with you. All the stuff that's going on with me on the surface, I don't look broken. You can't see my blood pressure. You can't see my heart rate, right? I look fine on the outside, but I know on the inside there's something really messed up. And I am going to continue to seek what it is that's wrong with me, because knowing that information will allow me to make the best decision possible moving forward. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have the option to do nothing at this point. That's not in the cards for what I'm dealing with right now. But if it were, that's my choice. I can do whatever I want with that information once I have it. But I want you to know, Mama, that if you're seeking a diagnosis solely because you want to know more about who you are, that is a good enough reason. And I want you to go do it. Make it happen. Don't let anyone tell you that it's not important, that it's not valuable. If it is important to you, it is worth doing. So successful, Mama. We will tackle whatever it is that comes our way here in 2020, whether it be our mental health, our physical health, whatever else 2020 throws at us, we are going to make it happen because we are strong, because we are persistent, and we are mamas who get things done. So successful, Mama. Have an amazing week. Share the podcast with a friend. Leave a review, because your words of encouragement mean so much to me. Seriously. And we will talk next Thursday, Successful Mama.
Thank you for listening to Motherhood and ADHD. For more resources, head over to our website, www.motherhoodandadhd.com.